Hi, I'm Ryan Tuttle, President of Threat Dynamics. Thanks so much for choosing us to come train with. I know you're anxious to get out to the range, but we got some safety things we got to talk about real quick. We don't allow any exposed firearms in our lobby, our classroom, or the facility that a Threat Dynamics staff member hasn't already cleared first. So if you'd like to show someone your gun or need to maybe put in a chamber flag, let us know and one of our staff members would be glad to help you. Now let's talk about our gear. We know we're going to need hearing protection and eye protection moving onto the range. But if you wear prescription eyeglasses, you may also want to consider doubling up on some additional ballistic protected eyeglasses. Beyond that, we're going to need a range bag. Every firearm has to be in some sort of case coming into our facility and exiting the live fire range. So if you don't have one and you need to bring in a firearm, let us know. We'll provide you with the bag. Other than that, if you have a legally, lawfully concealed carry firearm with you, keep it in the holster until we get out to the live fire range. We'll talk about that more in a minute. In addition, every firearm that comes into Threat Dynamics, both coming onto the range and leaving the range, needs to have some sort of chamber flag. If you don't have a chamber flag, let a staff member know and we will provide you with one. Okay, a couple more things we need to go over before we head out to the range. One, no food or drinks are allowed out on the live fire range. So if you have anything to drink, finish it up here in the lobby. Another thing too, if you have any questions about the operation of your firearm or if you're renting one of our guns, ask us now. It's going to be very difficult for us to do that out on a live fire range, competing with the rest of the sound from the other gunshots. Also, let's consider what kind of shirt we're wearing. Ladies, this is especially true with you. If we're wearing a low-cut blouse, as we extend the firearm out ready to shoot, that creates a pocket. Very oftentimes, that's where you get the hot brass down your shirt. It's extremely uncomfortable and extremely painful, and it can create a lot of safety concerns out on the live fire range when you're doing the hot brass dance with a loaded gun. Okay, I think we got everything we need. We got our bullets, we got our guns, we got our eye and ear protection, and our targets. I think we're ready to head out to the range. Let's go shoot. All right, we're ready to go into the live fire range now. Just remember, as we approach our airlock system, this big red box, it's eye and ear protection beyond this point. We use a two-door airlock system, so let me show you how that works. Okay, moving into the airlock. First, just get very close to this front door. It'll automatically open, just like a grocery store door. As we move in, make sure that you give anybody coming off the range the right of way. And as a reminder, we do have the Threat Dynamics Big 4 firearm safety rules here for you. Let's go real quick. Rule number one, as a reason is rule number one, treat every firearm that you come in contact with as though it is loaded. That means the guns that you're handling on the range, taking on or off the range, we're always going to consider them to have live ammunition ready to fire. Rule number two, always point the firearm in a safe direction and never point the firearm at anything you're not willing to kill, destroy, or pay for. This is so important that we always are cognizant where that barrel is pointing. And of course, if they're pointing at people, ourselves, or anything that we can cause some sort of damage to, we want to avoid that at all costs. Always finding the safest direction to point that firearm. Rule number three, keep your trigger finger off that trigger until you are ready to fire. What does that mean? I have looked down my sights and I am expecting the gun to go off. That's how we know that it's okay to put our finger out. Otherwise, this guy needs to stay off of those triggers at all times. Rule number four, identify and know your target and what is beyond. This is very important also in a live fire range as well as it is for self-defense. But we need to understand that by the trajectory of that round, we could be shooting through our target and hitting the safety baffles on the ceiling. Trying to avoid that, of course. Located in the airlock, you also see there we have a phone. This phone pages the front desk. If you need any targets, more bullets, if you have a jam that you need some help with, just page the front desk and we'll come out and help you. Just take note of what lane number you're on. Here we are, our second door in our live fire range. For your convenience, everything here is hands-free. So just like I am right now, I've got my hands full of my range equipment. All you need to do is wave in front of it. The door will automatically open for you. One thing we need to acknowledge here, that we're all coming to the live fire range for different reasons. That being said, if you happen to see a range violation, please find one of the Threat Dynamics staff members and we'll make sure that we correct that issue on the spot. Okay, so getting started, just getting the firearm out of the bag. One of the things that we need to make sure that we're always being cognizant of which direction that barrel is pointed, and it starts just bringing the firearm out of the bag. As we go through that process and we open our range bag, look down, see where the direction of the barrel is pointed. Right now I'm pointed in a downrange position. That's what I wanted to start with. So when we're bringing that firearm out of the case, we're going to make sure that we don't make contact with that trigger, but at the same time that the barrel is always pointed perfectly downrange. The next thing that we want to do is we want to confirm that that firearm is clear. What do I mean by clear? Right now we have started off with this pistol with the chamber flag in the barrel, which is what we should have at this point. First thing we're going to want to do is drop that magazine and make sure that magazine has no live ammunition in it. From there, we want to, without putting our finger on the trigger, we want to probably, if we can, lock the slide to the rear and removing that chamber flag. If locking the slide to the rear is difficult for you, another thing you can do is by rotating to the extraction port side of the semi-automatic, just pull that slide back and that chamber flag will more likely just drop right out of there. Okay, from this point, we want to confirm that there's no live rounds chambered, and we do that not only physically, but visually inspecting the magazine well in the chamber. From here, this firearm is now cleared. Anytime we set the firearm down and it doesn't have the chamber flag, we want to see that firearm with the extraction port up. That way, anyone walking by can see that that firearm does not have any loaded ammunition in the chamber. One of the things we always need to be actively looking for is what we call squib load. How we know we have a squib load is as we're shooting, we will have a difference in recoil and a difference in noise. Bang, bang, puff, okay? Difference in noise, difference in recoil. Stop shooting immediately. What may have happened here is the bullet left the chamber, but it did not exit the barrel. We still have a bullet stuck in the barrel of the gun. You may have still got the empty shell cases to be extracted, but if we shoot again, that firearm is going to explode in your hand. Hence why we wear these things, all right? So we definitely have to always be looking for that squib load. How do we avoid getting a squib load? A couple ways. One, shoot good quality factory-made ammunition. You see a lot more of the squib loads a little bit more prevalent in remanufactured ammunition. Beyond that, making sure that we are shooting at a pace that we can stop ourselves. If we're shooting and hammering away just as fast as we possibly can, we're not going to be able to stop ourselves by the time we sense that there was that difference in noise and difference in recoil. Another thing that we're looking for is what we call a hang fire. So as we're shooting, bang, bang, click. Okay, so we had a primer strike on the ammunition, but the round didn't go off. This could be a delayed reaction. We want to wait about approximately 30 seconds and keeping that barrel pointed around with your finger off the trigger. After that 30 seconds, go ahead and clear that round out and then toss it right out in front of the booth. We'll take care of that sensitive round later on. On our shooting range, the back of the shooting table is the firing line. Any firearm that's on the table, perfectly okay to be outside of a bag without a chamber flag. Any firearm past the firing line needs to be in a bag with the chamber flag. No exposed firearms beyond the firing line. Also on our shooting range, absolutely no one is allowed to be forward of the shooting line. If you drop something, you need to get something, find a Threat Dynamics staff member and we will call a ceasefire and get it for you. All right, now let's talk about our target controllers. We have complete digital target controllers here at Threat Dynamics. These are preset positions. So 5, 10, and 22 yards. 22 yards is all the way to the back berm. So if I hit 5 yards, it takes my target right out to 5 yards. Let's say I want to go out to 7 yards. I just hit the out button in 0.5 yard increments, and it'll go right out to 7 yards for me. No more guessing about where that target distance is. And when you're ready to bring that target back to the shooting booth and see where your shots hit, just hit home. Another thing that we're always listening for is any range commands. If you hear someone yell, "Cease fire," on the live fire range, immediately set your firearm down and step back behind the firing line and wait for additional commands. If you are lawfully concealed carrying or you brought your firearm into the range with a holster on, how we want you to draw the firearm out to get it ready to shoot is simply like this. With your shoulders squared to your target and very slowly extracting and then getting that barrel pointed down range as soon as you possibly can. Now that I'm all done shooting for the day, it's time to return my firearm back to its case, inserting the chamber flag and into the bag. Also making sure that I've taken down all of my targets and that I've also policed up my brass just by simply pushing it forward of the firing line with one of the provided squeegees. If you're not happy with your shot groups, understand that we're here to help, and we offer a service called private instruction. As a matter of fact, we have a 6-inch group guarantee. If you're not able to get all of your shots in a 6-inch group at the end of one of our 1-hour private instructions, the next one's on us. We will get you shooting the way you want. We also have a variety of complementary tools available for you to use on the live fire range. If you don't see the tool that you need, please inform a staff member. We also have a first aid kit including band-aids, a trauma pack, and rubber gloves. If you don't see what you need in the first aid kit, please inform us. If you do happen to have any biohazards that need to get cleaned up, it's important that you inform a Threat Dynamics staff member immediately, and we'll provide you with the necessary equipment to do that. Your health and safety is important to us both on and off the range. One of the things that we provide is these hand wipes. The hand wipes are designed to get any of the lead particles off your hands from shooting the gun, also from handling the ammunition. I highly recommend before you leave the facility that you wash your hands with cold soapy water. All right, I think we got just a couple more things and we're on our way. Back into the airlock system. First checking, make sure we've got all of our stuff. Just simply wave in front of that touchless button and we're back on our way into the airlock. Now that we made it back into the airlock, you're going to notice this blue sticky pad. This mat is designed to get any of the lead contaminants off your feet. This avoids tracking any lead contaminants back into the rest of the facility and also doesn't take that stuff home. After you've made it over the blue sticky pad, just stand right close to this door and I'll let you out. All right, that's our safety video. I really appreciate your time and watching that video with us. We look forward to training with you more. If you have any questions, please ask a Threat Dynamics staff member. We'll be glad to help you out in any way possible. Otherwise, we hope you have a great and safe time on the range. Come here! Hey, come on!